5. I'll be able to. Yeah. Well, I'm not related to Jackson.
Call the regular city council meeting to order. Invocation by Pastor Leann, Taylorville Christian.
Dear Father God, we just thank you that you are here among us now as we come to you with our requests and our thanks, and we just give thanks now for those who are here to serve. We ask that you give them wisdom and guidance, that you help them make wise decisions for this community. We thank you for those who have served, and we thank you for those who are being sworn in, that you would have your hand on them, you would guide them as well, and all that they do. We just ask for your will to be done. And as we seek you tonight, we just want to pray your words over this meeting. Our Father, who is in heaven, holy is your name. Your kingdom come, and your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Here.
Here. Jim Allen.
Here.
Martin Vota.
Here.
Earl Walters.
Here.
All aldermen are present. On this vote destination.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Dorsones, second by Alderman Bertle.
I have a comment.
Comment, Alderman Walters.
Thank you, Your Honor. Under the minutes of the Street and Sewer Committee meeting held April 24th, 2019, I need to make amend that motion for clarification purposes. And you'll find that motion on the next page. At the bottom, the last motion. And that motion should read, motion by Alderman Vota and seconded by Alderman Hile, to recommend to the city attorney to direct, to the city council to direct city attorney Romano to rescind the ordinance for no parking on the south side of West Esther Street in the 200 block and remove the no parking signs between Northern and Washington Street, North Webster and Washington Street.
All right. Thank you, Alderman Walters. Vote to approve of minutes of the regular meeting held April 15th, 2019. Minutes of the Finance Committee meeting held April 18th, 2019. Minutes of the Street and Sewer Committee meeting held April 24th, 2019. And minutes of the Public Facilities Committee meeting held April 24th, 2019. Roll call.
Need another motion, please.
Okay, motion to approve these.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Dorsones, second by Alderman Bertle. Roll call.
Sean Bertle.
Yes.
Ernie
Yes.
Dorchenez. Lee Landzadi.
Yes.
Jim Allen.
Yes.
Martin Vota.
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Motion to approve and or ratify payment of bills, $909,709.12.
Make an informed motion.
Motion by Alderman Bud. Second by Alderman Bertle. Comment, Alderman Bud.
Health insurance, $103,583.42. Illinois Public Risk Workers' Comp for Jim, $24,237. These totaled $127,820.42. Electric, $8,930.92. Garbage, $2,933.72. Telephone, $1,055.96. Big R, Ron's and Walmart, $2,984.78. Computer Tech, $2,856.48. IEMT Insurance, the clerk and mayor surety line, $1,050. Altor for $4,595. Midwest Meter from Meters and Supplies, $20,925.59. U-Line, $2,608.88. United Capital Funding, Temporary Help, $8,536.57. Meyer Austin Remodel, $8,760. Economic Development, and Jacob and Klein, TIF 1 and BDD, $1,265.25. Police and Fire Uniforms, $1,870.71. Police Department Lily Signs, $1,292.51. Street Department Bluebell Garage, $1,527.87. U.S. Bank for the dump truck, payment number 2 of 3, $40,909.97. Water Department Blocker Construction, $520,622.93. Denton Associates, $16,217.12. Clark Boots, $1,037.91. Medora Corp. Beekeeper Service Contract, $9,131. PDC for labs for water testing, $2,969. USA Blue Book Chemicals and Supplies, $6,208.49. Chemicals, $30,674.76. Water Systems Engineering Analysis of well number 4, $1,450. Sewer Department Furman Engineering, $8,000. Bill Tillis for sewer repair, $11,570. Vanavetra Engineering for maintenance contract on lift stations, $28,870.51. Airport Crawford, Murphy and Tilly, this is a pass-through, $5,462.97. Cemetery Salon Equipment, Moore and Parts, $8,429.59, and these total to $889,979.86.
Roll call.
Ernie Dorchenez? Yes. Lee Landzadi?
Yes.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Martin Vota?
Yes.
Earl Walters?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Sean Burdell?
Motion carries 7-0. Need a motion to approve the abstracted vote from the April 2nd, 2019 election, which states Jim Olive, Alderman Ward 1, 93 votes. Christopher Scultetti, Alderman Ward 2, 110 votes. Megan Bryant, Alderman Ward 3, 144 votes. And Alderman Ward 4, Kathleen Driscoll, Alderman Ward 4, 142 votes. Need a motion to declare these people the winner.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Bertle, second by Alderman Bud. Roll call.
Lee Landzadi?
Yes.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Martin Vota?
Yes.
Earl Walters?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Sean Burdell?
Yes.
Ernie Dorchenez?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. This time, I'd like to make a presentation to Alderman Vota. Would stand up, please. In recognition of 12 years of service to the city of Taylorville, serving as Alderman representing Ward 2. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I did ask the mayor if I could make a couple comments, just real short. It's been an honor to represent the citizens of our city as Alderman for Ward 2. Over 12 years, I've made many acquaintances in this position, some of which have become very good friends. After 3 terms, I decided not to run. That was my decision. There was no reason other than the fact that I've got other things on the table. I feel it's time for new faces and fresh ideas for the city council to help this city move forward. I also realize that life's short. I've given 12 years to the city, and after being blessed with my first grandson, my time will focus on the little man. Thank you to the people of the city of Taylorville, especially to those of Ward 2 who offered my opportunity to represent them in the city and to continue serving the city. At this time, Chris, you're going to do a great job. It's been a pleasure visiting with you up to this point, and I'm available if questions come up that I can help with. But thanks again to the city and everybody who's here. Thank you.
The next presentation I'd like to make to Alderman Walters. In recognition of 16 years of service to the city of Taylorville, serving as Alderman representing Ward 4. Congratulations, Earl. April 30th, 2019.
So moved, Your Honor.
Motion by Alderman Vota, second by Alderman Lanzadi. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Also need a motion to approve the resignation and retirement of the Police Chief Hile, effective July 1st, 2019.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Bud, second by Alderman Vota. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We'll take a short recess now, and we'll have the swearing-in ceremony of the newly elected officials in just a few minutes. Thank you. Recess is over. We'll have the swearing-in ceremony of elected officials. Oath of office administered by retired Judge Spear.
Thank you. Judge Paisley apologizes that he can't be here. His son is graduating from an Arizona university. Very proud judge. So you get a retired judge here tonight. Now, years I have to sit at this table as city attorney. So I hope all the newly elected officials was listening carefully to the prayer, because the part about forgiving those who trespass against you will come in handy over your term of office. The way we're going to proceed is we're going to have each of the aldermen come up separately. If you have family, you're welcome to have them come with you. I do have a Bible here that someone can hold for you if you would like. And then at the end, we'll also be gathering everybody together for a picture for the paper. All right? So first we have Alderman of Ward 1, Jim Olive. Mr. Romano, this is as close to a Bible as he gets.
We go back a way.
He was my law partner.
Yeah.
Raise your right hand.
I'm my law partner.
Very good.
I don't argue.
Just repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Alderman, Ward 1, City of Taylorville,
Alderman, Ward 1, City of Taylorville,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sign that right there. Every time you sign something can get you in trouble, marriage license and all that. Jim Olive, just sign right there.
Wrong cast witnesses.
No, he's done enough.
Very good, sir.
Very good, thank you. Congratulations. Next I have Chris Goltetti. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Alderman, Ward 2 of the City of Taylorville,
of Alderman, Ward 2 of the City of Taylorville,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Megan Bryant. Left on that, right up. Ready? I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Alderman, Ward 3, City of Taylorville,
of Alderman, Ward 3 of the City of Taylorville,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank
Kathy Driscoll. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Alderman, Ward 4, City of Taylorville,
of Alderman, Ward 4, City of Taylorville,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. And Bart Bialis. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Bart, we're going to have you approved here first. So. It could be close, so we got to hold it for the vote. Roll call.
Larry Bud.
Here.
Sean Burdell.
Here.
Ernie Dorchenez.
Here.
Kathy Driscoll. Here. Lee Lanzotti.
Here.
Jim Olive.
Here.
Chris Poltetti.
Here.
All aldermen are present. Now we'll have the appointment of the Lake Superintendent. Motion to approve the appointment of the Lake Superintendent. Motion by Alderman Olive, second by Alderman Rosati.
You do the roll call.
Roll call.
Of the new city.
Larry Bud,
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Ernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Leland Zadi.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0.
Now, Mr. Ritter, new Alderman, I have to have a picture up here in a minute. I haven't forgotten that. All right, Bart, please. It was never in doubt. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
Support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Lake Superintendent,
of the office of Lake Superintendent,
City of Taylorville,
City of Taylorville,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. We'll turn it over. What do you want?
Already, well, now you can't hide. Now you look silly. All right. On three. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Oh, and he looks silly. Thanks for dressing up.
Look like you're doing
Good seeing you. Oh, yeah.
All right. Need a motion to approve the committee assignment. Motion by Alderman Bertle, second by Alderman Bud. Following are the new committee assignments 2019. Emergency Services Chairwoman Kathy Driscoll, along with Megan Bryant, Jim Olive, Leland Zadi. Personnel, Leland Zadi Chairman, Kathy Driscoll, Jim Olive, Megan Bryant. Lake and Airport, Ernie Dorchenez, Chairman, Sean Bertle, Larry Budd, Chris Galtetti. Water, Sean Bertle, Chairman, Ernie Dorchenez, Larry Budd, Chris Galtetti. Finance, Larry Budd, Chairman, Leland Zadi, Sean Bertle, Megan Bryant. Ordinance, Megan Bryant, Chairwoman, Larry Budd, Sean Bertle, Leland Zadi. Street and Sewer, Jim Olive, Chairman, Chris Galtetti, Ernie Dorchenez, Kathy Driscoll. On Public Facilities, Chris Galtetti, Chairman, Jim Olive, Kathy Driscoll, and Ernie Dorchenez. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. An ordinance authorizing the sale of personal property owned by the city of Taylorville. MBM Triumph Guillotine Cutter. Motion by Alderman Bertle, second by Alderman Olive. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
You roll call vote on this.
Roll call. Okay. Roll call.
Just for the benefit of the new alderman here, whenever you see in the ordinance where it says corporate authorities, that means the mayor votes. So, we'll be voting on this, Mr. Mayor.
Roll call.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Leland Zadi.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Mayor Barry.
Yes. Motion carries 9-0. Resolution, acquisition of Sherry L. Holmes Real Estate, 828 West Vanderveer Street. This young lady called us this week and deeded over her property to the city at 828 West Vanderveer. We've got plans, we have to get a person out of it. We've given it to May 15th. And then we have plans either to possibly sell this land or tear the building down and sell it that way, or maybe a donation. So no plans of it right now, so just leave it.
Somebody, if I can comment, add your comments, Mr. Mayor, is that we did the title work on it, as you remember, and there were some delinquent real estate taxes on this property. I think it's under $2,000. That's right. So this resolution authorizes the city to pay that, to redeem the taxes from the county, so that we'll get clear title to it.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Bertle, second by Alderman Bryant. Roll call.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Leland Zadi.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. Resolution, Golden Real Estate Holdings of Illinois LLC and Shelbyville Properties LLC, dedication and easement agreement for the HSHS building. Motion by Alderman Bud. Second by Alderman Alden. Comment, Alderman
So
Bud.
everybody understands, this is the HSHS, out there on the north end of the new building. This is just tying up all the knots.
If I could follow up with some comments, I think each of you has received from me an email of the details of what we need to get to satisfy the redevelopment agreement. I have talked to the developer Friday and again today. As I understand it, the easement agreement, the dedication document has been signed, delivered to the city clerk's office. We're still waiting to receive the plat of survey that will identify by meets and bounds the actual legal description of the actual sewer line needs to come. Your city engineer this afternoon, I believe, sent an email to all of us, or at least I got one, that where he certified it was built according to the plans and specs. So we're moving right along. It's my understanding that we'll be getting in touch with the title company tomorrow. I'm told that there's no mortgage on the property, so we probably don't need subordination agreements when it comes up, and we hope to get that done very quickly to satisfy the redevelopment agreement. And I think they want to open up doors, I think, within a week, is what I understand. So, any questions about what the requirements are, where we're at in the stage? Okay.
Roll call.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Bernie
Yes.
Dorchenez. Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Leland Zadi.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Mayor votes, that's appropriate.
Mayor
Mayor votes yes. Motion carries 9-0. Motion to award the bid for milling and asphalt for East Main Cross. We got the bids today, correct?
We got them last week. They should be in your packet.
They're in your packet.
So moved.
To accept the low bid. Motion by Alderman Bud, second by Alderman Teddy. Comment, Alderman Bud.
This is from Paw Paw Street to Cherokee Street, where we put the new water main in last fall. If any of you have been down East Main Cross, you will say that this is well needed. It needs to be done sooner than later. So that's what this is for. Jackie, I'll talk to you about the revenues.
Excuse me, Larry, is that the street that's kind of bumpy? Don't you think?
Kinda.
It's almost as smooth as the whole cow path.
There's lots of bumps on the sign now.
I see somebody put an S on there. Be careful of the bumps, as somebody put an S on it.
You need to put a Band-Aid.
It's a little rough.
Mr. Mayor, can we include the name of the vendor in the motion?
That'll be on minute to Sherman Flat.
Okay. Roll call.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Ernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Lee Landzadi.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Driscoll Teddy.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0.
May I make a comment about that motion there? I saw in the minutes, I spoke briefly to Mr. Budd, but for the benefit of the new alderman, the actual, window is $25,000 when you're required to bid, not $20,000. The ordinance was amended. Any materials have to be $25,000, any work, has to be over $25,000, has to be bid unless 2/3 of you decide to waive that bidding process. So we'll see in the minutes it says 20, but that, the law was recently changed, so that's $25,000.
Motion to award bid for sidewalk and pavement for the intersection of Pleasant and Walnut.
So moved, Your Honor.
Motion by Alderman Bud,
Comment?
second by Alderman Driscoll. Comment, Alderman Bud.
For all of you, to let you know where this is, the old entrance coming off of Walnut Street into the hospital. Now that they've built the new addition over there, that has all been blocked off. And when you take the, there at the corner, the Walnut Street project stops at where you see the new gutter. If you look at the gutter on the north side of the road, you will see that it's about this much lower than the other part of the road. And that's to take and be able to correct that problem and make that all drain through there and make all the sidewalks ADA accessible.
Alderman
Comment,
Olive.
and as for Superintendent Whiteman, did they take in consideration that sidewalk and everything on the southeast corner there? It's gotten run over since we were down and looked at it, and they had them barricades up there. Is that gonna be part of this? Will they go ahead
I
and?
think it is. I really do.
Okay. I kinda thought it was.
It had to
so.
be tore out for ADA.
And Truman Flat was the low bidder on this, the only bidder.
And Mr. Budd, I assume, as with the prior motion and this one, anytime you're accepting the bids, it's contingent upon the successful bidder signing the city's form contract, providing the requisite bonds,
Absolutely.
paying prevailing wages and certificates of insurance, correct?
And it was bid that way.
Okay.
Alderman Gonzalez.
I went there and reviewed that this morning to look at that area. And you're right, it's about 14 inches below. I noticed there's a deviation starting on the, going toward the west and then going toward the east. It's like a deviation, it drops down and then it goes back up. I don't quite understand that, and like I say, there's about 14 inches of material above the flow line. My question is, how are you going to circumvent that road to flow that? It's
That all
gonna be a
comes
real
out.
big drop off.
That all comes out, that whole
Oh,
corner
the
comes
whole
out and
intersection will be,
replaced.
okay, thank you.
Roll call.
Ernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Lee Landzadi.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Driscoll Teddy.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Motion carries 8-0. Motion to award bid for the sale of 3 street department vehicles. Motion by Alderman Olive, second by Alderman Driscoll. Comment, Alderman Olive.
No, other than that, they're just great vehicles, and I hope they go at a good price.
I think the one bid was $450.
That's in your package.
The other two is $650.
Yep.
401 it says on that sheet.
401, and 2 for $650. Okay. Roll call.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Larry Bud. Lee Landzadi.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Driscoll Teddy.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Ernie
Yes.
Dorchenez.
Motion carries 8-0. Motion to move the emergency services committee meeting held Tuesday, May 7th to Tuesday, May 7th, 2019. Motion by Alderman Dorchenez, second by Alderman Bertle. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Motion to move the finance and ordinance committee meeting to Wednesday, May 15th, 2019.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Bud, second by Alderman Bertle. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. City attorney update.
3 quick matters, folks, and that is the Blue Stem agreement that I think, I don't know if the new ones have gotten a copy of it, but it's been revised. It's gonna be on your agenda in your water committee meeting that's coming up here shortly. And I think you should have a slide presentation that I know, the mayor and I and the water superintendent do, and you can decide on committee if you wanna go forward with that. We're told that the folks that are behind the agreement, they are in agreement with the language that we have, the revised agreement, so it's a question whether you wanna go forward. Secondly, tomorrow night, we're gonna be talking about the ambulance license ordinance, and I hope everyone's got a copy of the latest revision. I did get an email late this afternoon from the fire chief and assistant fire chief, who have suggested a couple other comments that we'll address tomorrow night. I just got it, haven't really looked at that closely yet. And then finally, there was going to be a public hearing scheduled at your next meeting that we understand is on the Community Development Block Grant funds from the Department of Commerce, DCO, for the tornado funds. And from what we understand from the county is that we do not have to have that public hearing, but you do need to have an intergovernmental cooperation agreement with the county. And I understand the county wants to take the lead on the application, so that'll be on your agenda for next meeting. Any questions? Okay, that's it.
Thank you all for Attorney Romano. Mayor update. Tonight marks the halfway mark of my term as mayor. We have accomplished quite a bit of cleanup, but the job is not near done yet. The City Council welcomes 3 new members, and I want to congratulate them all. Your job has just begun. I am asking all aldermen, new ones and old ones, to visit their wards and get me a list of things that we need to do. Either picking up debris, picking up tree limbs, redoing sidewalks, anything that is in your ward you would like to see done in the next few weeks, the next few months, the next few years. I would like a list by the next council meeting if possible. If you can, I mean, I don't expect you to go door to door, but drive through the alleys, drive through everywhere. I want to just get to know, hopefully we can have our summer help do most of this work, picking up tree limbs. I drive through the alleys about every day. There's a lot of tree limbs that we did not get, and I just want to make sure we have a list, and I'll leave that up to the alderman to give me that list. We have lost over 50 years of experience on the previous city council with Jones, Vota, and Walters leaving, but with fresh ideas we can continue to move forward as we try to clean up our community. I want to personally thank Billy Heberly for all her excellent work in figuring out the motor fuel tax. We'll have a meeting next Tuesday on May 14th, I believe is the date, at 3:30 to discuss that for the ones that are on that committee. We welcome new Lake Superintendent Bart Bialis and wish our retiring Lake Superintendent Alan Jackson the best in his retirement. With the retirement of Police Chief Hile, we will first look to fill from within, but we will look outside as well to get the best possible candidate. I look forward to filling this position by June 15th. HSHS ribbon cutting will be held this Thursday evening at 6 p.m. and Steak and Shake will be open in a couple weeks, weather permitting. We are currently applying for a new enterprise zone as our present zone expires in December 2020. We will continue to work closely with Missions for Taylorville and also the long-term recovery team as we hope to rebuild the affected areas from the tornado. We are currently tearing down a house at 803 West Prairie. We will go to Waco Street next. I believe that 829 is the address there. Then hope to tear down 828 West Vanderveer, and then 716 West Adams is the next house. So we got 4 houses right now we're going to tear down in the next few weeks. I want to thank the Greater Taylorville Chamber of Commerce for awarding myself the Citizen of the Year Award this past weekend. I accepted this award on behalf of all the first responders, the city officials, the superintendents, and all the city workers for a job well done during the tornado. Thank you very much. Committee reports. Discussion and/or motion to approve, adopt, and/or deny, and/or table, and/or amend, and/or refer to an appropriate committee in whole or in part the matters regarding the following subject matters discussed at the committee level. Finance Committee, Alderman Bud.
Thank you, Alderman. The first motion to come out of there was to recommend to the City Council to ratify the amount paid to Ms. DeClerk from the Sam Taylor Fund in the amount of $1,184.78. This had to be corrected because there was some interest on that, so we had to correct this number, make that form of motion. And this will delete that account.
Motion by Alderman Bud,
Second.
second by Alderman Olive, roll call.
Leann,
Yes.
Jim Olive,
Yes.
Chris Coltetti,
Yes.
Megan Bryant,
Yes.
Larry Bud,
Yes.
Sean Burdell,
Yes.
Ernie Dorchenez,
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0.
Next motion was to recommend the city council to forward the FY 2019-2000 budgets to the city treasurer for further refinement. Make that in form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Bud, second by Alderman Bertle, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
The next one we've already approved. We approved it earlier. The last motion to recommend the city council to accept the treasurer's report as presented. Make that form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Bud,
Second.
second by Alderman Bryant, roll call.
Jim Olive,
Yes.
Chris Coltetti,
Yes.
Megan Bryant,
Yes.
Larry Bud,
Yes.
Sean Burdell,
Yes.
Ernie
Yes.
Dorchenez, Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Leann Zadi.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. Street and Sewer Committee, Alderman Olive,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A motion to recommend to the city council to approve the request of Oak Hill Cemetery to close Cherokee Street for Memorial Day services on May the 27th, 2019. Put that in form of motion.
motion by Alderman Olive, second by Alderman Bertle, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to recommend to the city council to approve the Faith Bible Christian Academy special events permit to be held May 10th and 11th, 2019 at the intersection of Webster and West Main Cross from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Put that in form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Olive,
Second.
second by Alderman Bertle.
Mr. Mayor, maybe for the benefit of the new alderman, the special event permit is a form that has been developed here in the city, and then those folks that come forward and sign that, they provide certificates of insurance to protect the city with those kind of events.
Thank you. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to recommend to the city council to approve the special event permit for the Chamber of Commerce for the Community Blood Drive on Friday, May 17th, 2019, and Friday, August 23rd, 2019, from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. to be held on the southeast side of the square. Also in form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Olive,
Second.
second by Alderman Bryant. Roll, or all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to recommend to the city council to approve a request for dinner season with love, special event permit to be held on the south side of the square on Saturday, June 15th, 2019, from 11:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. with preparations and cleanup. Cleanup the area will be blocked from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Done in form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Olive,
Second.
second by Alderman Driscoll. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, this one here, Alderman Walters talked about in the OMNIBUS. Motion to recommend the city council to direct city attorney Romano
To prepare an ordinance to rescind the prior ordinance relating to the no parking on the south side of Esther and the no parking signs between Webster Street and North Wood. Does that sound okay to you?
kind of like you told it right out of my mouth.
Motion by Alderman Olive, second by Alderman Skoltedi. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
I have a question. Why are we rescinding it?
It's around that bank where the bank used to be, and there was no traffic come in that way.
Palmer Bank.
The Palmer Bank is no longer there, it's just that little block there.
We voted to remove them, but there was an ordinance for them to be there, so we had to rescind the original ordinance. Means we took them away.
I got a request from one of the businesses right there. If they could use that for parking, because of the insurance company, the realtor, and Kirby, and then there's a beauty shop going in right there.
Okay.
Right? Public facilities, Alderman Skoltedi.
Public Facilities Committee, motion to recommend to the City Council to accept the proposal as presented from Yard Heating and Cooling to install
HVAC unit in the conference room to replace the HVAC unit in the mayor's office with a total cost of $13,779. Have a comment?
Motion by Alderman Scaltetti. Second by Alderman Bryant. Comment, Alderman Scaltetti.
I did have some concerns with spending the money on the air conditioner until I sat in this room tonight. I did not realize that it encompassed everything, and it was miserable to sit in this room, so I just wanted to say that as my timing's everything worked out well for everybody.
I think the motion is also contingent upon you already signing the city's form contract, certificate of insurance and bond, so.
As Jim said, I thought that's exactly what I was saying.
That, also just to make, I know that there's some comment on this area, that there used to be a window unit in this area, and there was, and the reason why it was in there is because the unit on the roof was not doing what it should do, so it was kind of a secondary. But we're actually running 2 air conditioning, so this is gonna alleviate that problem. It hasn't been, proper for probably 2 or 3 years. So that was the sole purpose of doing it, and even though the price sounds high, it's going to take a crane to set the things off of the roof and a crane to set them back on top of the roof. So it's a little more than just a heating and air conditioning project, but that's the reason for it.
All right. Alderman Bryant, do you have a comment?
The only comment I had was that, I know there was an email about it, but, this is the, building that all the people come to the mayor's office if they've got a problem, or they talk to him, and to have a window unit in there is not being professional, and if we had any offices downstairs, that we would replace that air conditioner for those offices, and this should be no different up here on the 2nd floor for these offices. It's a public building, and we need to maintain our public buildings.
Roll call.
Chris Teddy.
You need a second. You already got the second.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Ernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll. Yes. Leland Zutty.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. Per subparagraph G of 5 ILCS 120/2.06, this portion of the city council meeting is reserved to any person wishing to address the council on any relevant subject matter concerning the city. The Illinois Open Meeting Act 5 ILCS 120/1 mandates no action shall be taken on subject matters not listed on the agenda, but the council may direct staff to address the topic or refer the subject matter to a future council and/or committee. If anyone wishes to address the council, please provide your name and address, limit your comments or presentation to 3 minutes, and avoid repetitious comments. Anyone in the audience like to speak to the council?
I would.
Have your microphone there.
State your name.
Patrick Kretzer, address 326 Wilson. I want to begin by letting everybody know that I'm pretty frustrated with the system, the way it works. I bought a house at 401 West Poplar Street, and the first thing I noticed after a gentleman lost his house in the tornado, needed someplace to stay, he went over and looked at it, and he said, I can't live there, the parking is horrendous. He said, I have 2 vehicles, he said, there's no place for me to park. So that triggers me to think, maybe I ought to address this no parking. So he decided he wouldn't take it. But my 85-year-old mother, who lives in Pana, she's gonna move into it. So the first thing I did was I found out what I needed to do in order to get no parking on the south side of West Poplar. And I was told to come to the Street and Sewer Committee. I come the first time, I didn't have enough information with me, so I went back and I come back at the next meeting. And in that meeting, it was decided 3-0 that it would be sent to the city council for the recommendation for no parking on the south side. On March 4th, it come to the city council and it passed 6-0. That was March 4th. I found out last week that one of the aldermen in that ward, which I never give it a thought about the wards, this was to me, was just a city of Taylorville thing. He decided that maybe we ought to look at this a little further. Well, my understanding is that I follow the rules. So if I follow the rules, it's okay for somebody to come along at the last minute and say, no, let's look at it again. So what I want is I want to know a clarification from the city council. Did I follow the rules right, or should have I contacted the residents next door, across the street? You know, I mean, and I told the neighbor across the street, I said, you be on my side of the street and look over. And how 5 cars parked behind my driveway and I can't get backed out. And you know what he told me? He said, looks like to me you do a pretty good job at it. And if you hit my car, you're gonna pay for it. So that's where I'm at. And I called the alderman of that ward. He did return my call once, but he never did call me back to where we could discuss it. And I called the other alderman that was newly elected, and she never called me back either. So if I can't state my case to those 2 aldermen, I was at 2 committee meetings, and it passed the city council. What else do I need to do, Mayor?
Well, like, as we discussed last week, I was, talked with the aldermen in that ward, and they were basically unaware of what was going on. I think they missed, the newly elected one had not been elected yet when this was all voted on. So I really can't hold her. And the other alderman was not at either one of those meetings.
And not at the city council meeting.
Right. And I also, thought that the people that could be against this were not properly notified. And we're working on some new notification, as I told you at that meeting.
Yeah.
That's not your fault at all.
That's not my fault.
I think it's an oversight on the city. We used to just, we post the meetings every week, but unfortunately, not a whole lot of people do get the paper, at least the main people that used to get it 30, 40 years ago. So I think if with the alderman's help, we will from now on send out letters to people that might be interested in this, and we will do that in the future. I was unaware that the so-called opposition or anybody else that was affected was not notified of the meeting.
Yeah.
So.
Well, my question is where we're at now?
Well, as I ordered Street Superintendent Wiseman not to put the signs up last week, I believe, and until we could discuss this further. And I think right now we're going to discuss it at the next meeting, street.
My question is,
on the 23rd.
It's already passed the city council. It shouldn't go back to committee. It stops right here. It's you guys' you need to make a motion here. The committee has nothing to do with it.
Well, I just thought it would give I thought that would be the best interest of the people involved in to go back to committee.
So you're basically changing the protocol in midstream, is what's happening.
Probably what you're speaking of, because I don't think the people were properly notified of this, and I want to give everyone a chance.
Nobody told me that I had to notify the neighbors to do that.
And like I said, that's an oversight on the city, and I was unaware of how we did notify them. And we will in the future notify everyone by letter, if possible, and leave that up to the alderman to think anybody that could be affected by a decision by the committee or the council should be notified, and I think you would agree with that too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what I can do. I follow the rules.
And we could put the signs up tomorrow. I'm not saying we couldn't.
Well,
but I didn't want to put the signs up and then 2 weeks later we rescind the vote, and that's why I ordered not to put the signs up.
Okay.
That's fine. I'm the one that you talked to. Okay, you can use my name.
I'm not here to
well, you don't
slam your
but you don't have to protect me. You can use my name. I don't have a problem with that. When you called, and I returned your call, okay, and I believe at that time I told you that we're going to send it back to the Street and Sewer Committee because of the fact that is my ward, okay. When that meeting took place, the committee meeting took place, I was in Arizona, okay, I was unaware of that, okay. Then when I got home, I got several phone calls from the people are affected by this on the other side of the street. I went back and got the minutes from the Street and Sewer Committee meeting, okay? And it looked like, if the minutes were correctly taken, and they were approved by Mr. Walters, it said that the reason that they're gonna put the no parking there was because of the fact that it was a safety issue, okay? And so I asked Mr. Cruz, Fire Chief Cruz, if it's a safety issue, I'm sure what they're talking about, although it did say in the minutes, it was because of a fire truck couldn't get through there. I was just assuming that. I asked the fire chief if that was he, anybody ask him about that? Well, how did that come to the meeting that it was a safety issue if nobody talked to the fire department? Somebody assumed that was it, and I wasn't at the meeting, okay? So I asked Mr. Cruz if he would do something for me. What did I ask you to do, Mr. Cruz?
Get a sense of the width of the apparatus cab for our largest vehicle, which is 96 inches, and see if we can get an apparatus through that thoroughfare with cars parked on the south and north side. You can. It's a tight fit, but it would not deter us from getting to point A to point B if there's a fire ahead of where that crew is going.
Okay, so my understanding was you have a fire truck issue, and it appears that we don't have. But Mr. Kretzer, would you not agree that if that street is too narrow and you can't have parking on one side, we got big problems in Taylorville because we got a lot of narrow streets.
You have a big problem.
Well, if we're going to say you can't park on that side of the street because of the width of the street, then the only right thing for Taylorville to do then would be to go to every narrow street and put no parking, and that's not going to work. Okay. So Mr. Cruz said that the firemen are all aware of those narrow streets in town. They avoid those streets if they're going from point A to point B for rescue, to fight a fire, whatever. They're not going to go down that street, okay? If there's a fire there, I asked him what he would do. He said if push came to shove, they would come from both directions to where that problem is and fight the fire that way, okay? But they could get down the street. They'd have to drive awfully slow, but they could get a truck down that street, okay? So what I was saying is that because they said it was a safety issue, none of the neighbors were notified of this meeting. They weren't there to be able to express their point of view, and I think you would agree that if you were in the same situation and the roles were reversed, wouldn't you like to be notified that they're going to take parking away from you?
Well, Ernie, I think that I probably would have been at that meeting if I knew what was going on, because I read the paper.
Well,
and I know what's going on.
I don't know why they weren't notified, because I'm not trying to blame Mr. Walters, but I'm just saying is that normally that's what we do. If there's going to be, you know that from if you're on a committee that
all of ours say right on it that this will affect.
It could affect your values, right?
Your property,
right?
You know, but yours don't. That didn't say that on that paper. I would have contacted.
Well, Mr. Walters dropped the ball on that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So
now the situation is, I have a driveway on my side of the street. How do I back out of my driveway and not hit the 5 cars parked across the street from it?
Well, as I understand it, Mr. Romano can attest to this. I'm not quoting the law, but I'm pretty sure that we don't have an ordinance that you can't block your driveway, but the state does. It's a state ordinance that you cannot block somebody from coming out of their driveway I'm pretty sure.
I've yet to find it.
And I asked Mr. Romano tonight to try to find that.
I haven't found it yet.
I read it.
Pardon?
I read it.
You did find it?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Like 6.3, if I was really prepared, I'd have that. But there is an ordinance that says, you're not allowed to park where it just says blocking a driveway.
Front, it's what it says.
Huh?
You talking about city code?
Yes.
Okay.
The big black binder that I received.
The state statute says you can't park in front of a driveway. It doesn't say anything about across the street.
Yeah, and I'm not sure on that. I just read the binder I was given, and it's 6-3 G Q something.
Alderman Olive?
Just to clarify, and I think I'm probably the one that mentioned the fire truck and the narrow streets just as a point of reference, not pro or con for the no parking, but it would, if there's no parking on one side of the street, of course, it's gonna make it easier traveling for the fire truck, and that was, I think, Chief Cruz and I talked about that the next day. It wasn't meant to interfere with the no parking ordinance or anything, it was just a point of reference that I was making.
639A7, it's unlawful to park any vehicle in any place where the standing of that vehicle will reduce the usable width of the roadway for moving traffic to less than 18 feet. And number 9 says at any point the vehicle would block the use of the driveway. So you have an ordinance on the books now that we put in.
Okay.
So your officers need to enforce it. Yeah.
Okay.
I would suggest.
So the
It's
guy,
a city code, not state law.
so the guy across the street from me has a 50-foot lot. And the lady next door to her has a 50-foot lot also. I'm gonna have about 30 feet of driveway.
Okay.
So, I will be calling the police, and I'd like a copy of that too, right? To enforce that ordinance. And I could care less about the no parking. All I wanna do is be able to back out my driveway.
Can I understand what you're saying? I wanna make sure I understand. You're saying that you cannot, right now, you cannot back out of that driveway without hitting an automobile if it's on the other side of the street? 'Cause they've been doing it for, I've been told.
No.
I've been told that those people have been, that driveway's been there for 50 years. That's what I've been told.
She moved in 1981. An elderly lady.
And
You think she's gonna go
in your
across-
house?
In this house at 401 West Poplar.
Okay.
You think she's gonna go across the street and complain to them neighbors that she can't back out of the drive? She hit the guy twice. No, but, I'm the type of person that if I see a problem, I'm gonna address it. So, I addressed it. Now, whether I can't speak for her, she's dead and gone. But I'm pretty sure that she fought it most of the time.
Is this on Poplar Street?
401 West Poplar.
Can I make a comment here? This is kind of off the subject of the ordinance, or not, having parking or not, but what I don't like about the whole situation is it sounds like, and I wasn't at every single one of those meetings, but it sounds like Mr. Crutcher followed our rules that we have now. Right or wrong, I don't know if they're the way they should be or the way that, and I don't like the fact that we have these rules in place and we make people follow them. And then arbitrarily, somebody, if it's, I don't know who did this, maybe it was you, then we just decide we're not gonna do that. What we need to do is go back through the policy, same way we went through it the first time, say, look, we made a mistake, so we need to rediscuss it. It's not just, the sign should have been put up. And then somebody should have brought it back to the committee and said, like, we made a mistake here, we didn't contact somebody, but to do this in midstream without any other contact with the committee or the council as a whole since they passed it, that doesn't seem right to me.
That's my frustration.
If I might
And I
add,
can see
by
that.
all rights, the council approved it on March 4th.
Right.
By all rights, we probably should have put the signs up that week at the latest, and I would agree with it.
Within 10 days after it was published.
10 days. Well, okay.
I think it was
10
actually
days
adopted
after
the
the
18th of March, maybe.
Okay,
or something.
we did not do it that time, whether we were doing something else, I'm not aware of. We were going to put them up, I think, a week ago, last Monday, I believe, or maybe the week before that or something.
I think it all started when Dick called in to Julie and the
Right.
stakes appeared and then the neighbors.
Right, and that's the
decided-
first I heard of any opposition. Well, I didn't want us to go to the work of putting the signs up and then a week or two later have to take them
And
down.
I get that, and I understand that the people should be notified, but still, even if we have a wrong policy, we have a wrong one. I'm sure there's more than just this one in there that we were doing something that's not 100%, but we should do it in an open way where people can.
Well, right now, your ordinance was adopted on March 18th, published on the 19th, 10 days after that, the 29th, your ordinance is in effect.
Okay.
So if you want to take it back, you
So,
can
okay,
rescind it.
well,
And we're allowed to do that if we want to take it back.
If I go to,
Rescind the ordinance anytime you want.
if I go to our police tomorrow, what am I going to tell them? Where can the people park? They cannot park directly behind his driveway, because that would be the 18 foot. They wouldn't give 18 foot from north to south in that road, correct? Because the road's only
22 foot wide.
Pardon?
22 foot wide.
The road is 22 foot wide. So the car is 5
More
foot
than
wide.
4 feet,
car's 5 foot wide, that'd
It
be
violates the ordinance.
that would be 17 foot, that wouldn't be the 18 foot. So they cannot park behind his driveway.
Correct.
That's per ordinance already.
Yeah.
They can park in front of his driveway, well, on the other side of the road, they can park there, all the way up, as long as they're not blocking.
Actually, you can't park on, the way that's written, you can't park on any street. If you park there, it reduces the width of any street to less than 18 feet. It doesn't make any difference where you park on a driveway or not. You have section 9 that says you can't block a driveway. That's a different section of the same ordinance.
So you're
So two
saying,
things.
you're saying every street that's 22 foot wide, you cannot have any parking on that street?
According to your ordinances,
Throughout the
right
city
now.
of Taylorville.
I mean, that's the way the ordinance was written back since 1998, I think it is.
Okay, here, for example, for example, if you go off the square and you're going on West Market, so you're gonna have to pull parking for a whole block of city parking. I mean, to me, that's what it comes down to.
They're all that way, Market, Vine, Poplar.
So my point is that, I don't know, what is our liability, Rocky, because of the fact that, let's say that when they have a planning and zoning meeting, they don't notify the neighbors inadvertently, the neighbors don't show up, they go ahead with it, and now it's detrimental to the neighbors, the value of their property is diminished because of what has been done.
They get, the neighboring people get letters. They're sent letters.
In a zoning situation, you sent letters, but there's no requirement in what you're doing here to actually notify the neighbors. I think your policy has been to do that, to be good neighbors, is to see if anybody's gonna object, but legally, you don't need to give any notice to them to do what you're doing on no parking. When you're doing zoning, that affects the use of the property. By statute requires the notice, but there's no statute that requires you to give the notice for something like this.
Okay, so
what you need to do now is that if you're not, if you got an ordinance that's legally in effect as of March 29th. If you decide that you want to rescind that ordinance, you have the power to do that. Just put the parking, no parking back off. But you still have, looking at 639, 7, and 9 paragraphs that puts a restriction. You can't block the use of a driveway, or you can't park on any street if your car being parked is going to reduce the width of the moving traffic less than 18 feet on the street. That's a violation of your ordinance. But that affects a lot of streets in town.
that's what, so
We
what,
don't know that, but that's been on the books for years.
okay, so now that let's say that it stays this way. So now that we know that, aren't we obligated to follow the rules, the law? And and what I mean by that, if we're gonna do that to that street, don't we have to do it to all the streets that are like that? Otherwise, we're breaking our own law. We're saying it's okay on this street, but it's not okay on this one. That doesn't make sense to me.
So you've got an ordinance, and it's your call to whether to enforce it or not. But if you're gonna enforce it, you need to enforce it on an equal basis, because you can get criticized for an unequal application of your law.
So,
It's illegal.
all right, so it's going back to
No,
the
it's
committee.
a
So
catch-22 for you. Either we're gonna change your ordinance or enforce it.
okay, so it's going back to the committee.
Alderman Skoltedi?
To equally enforce it though, wouldn't that be if, I know Mr. Kretzer wants to enforce it in his, on that street. And, if somebody else called and said, I want to enforce it on mine, and then do, let's say, half the other citizens don't care. But as long as they enforce it when a phone call is made, or when a report is made, you're equally enforcing it no matter what. Am I correct? I mean,
That's a good argument.
Nobody can find it.
And it's what a lot of towns do, it's a lot of what folks do, it's what police do every day they're out here. They exercise discretion. Everybody that violates speeds or runs a stop sign doesn't always get a ticket. So it's kind of you make a good argument, but if we got into a big class action lawsuit, I don't think it would hold water. But we know that, the squeaky wheel's gonna get attention. So if your neighbor's gonna complain or you have a problem, you go say, you can't do this, you stop it. If the other people don't care, then you probably
case, then we need to go back to committee and rescind that in itself, that ordinance in itself. Because we're not enforcing it, and that we don't know, quite frankly, we don't have the manpower to enforce it.
But this is not the first time this type of an issue has come before this council. I think you've had other complaints where people on these small streets, you try to back out a driveway, you run the risk of hitting that parked car, because there's just not enough room to maneuver.
The only time it's came in my tenure as mayor in the last 2 years was on Pleasant Street, and I think Alderman Olive and Alderman Bud took care of that.
I think you had one on Elm Street, you had a police car parked there all the time, and I know someone who was trying to get out, and was trying to hit the police car.
At one of the meetings I was at, there was a question whether the people on the opposite side of the road had a place to park that they weren't using. Was that question ever asked?
They all got garages around back.
Everybody has a garage?
Everybody has a garage.
So wait a minute, it's not an excuse that you don't have a place to park. It's like my daughter. She can park in the driveway next to the house, which is 5 feet away from the front door. Or she can park out by the garage, which is about 25 yards from that.
They've got 4 cars.
So if you have 4 cars, you only got a 1-car garage.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying they do have an alternative parking
No.
location.
For one of the cars,
I mean,
not all 4.
They gotta park on the street, I can tell you that.
But maybe not
The
that.
guy's got a 50-foot lot that he owns, and he's got 4 drivers. He's gonna park on in front of somebody else's house. But he's got 2-car garage around back, and he's got access, a driveway going to it, so, you know, I mean, maybe he might park 1 car on the street, but, you know, when you got 5 out there, it's pretty hard.
Well, that's gonna be hard work. I don't care what street you live on.
Alderman Brian, do you have a comment?
I don't, thank you.
Alderman Bud?
Well, this is actually an ordinance, so this needs to really go to ordinance and not streets. It's an ordinance issue, it's not a street issue. So if we're going to do anything with this, we need to bring it to ordinance.
Don't we need to vote on that tonight? I mean, we have to make a motion
No,
on
vote,
it.
there's not an agenda item, so we can't vote on it.
We can move it to ordinance on the 15th,
You know, that,
Wednesday night.
I've been over there to see that, you know, and we had a problem over on Pleasant. On Olive and I went and we knocked on the houses across the street from it. And we were going to put up no parking signs, and we told them, if you don't move your cars out of there, that's going to be the alternative. And they didn't park there anymore.
Superintendent Wiseman?
If Pat does what he's gonna do anyway, there ain't gonna be nobody parking there. He's gonna put up a 30-foot driveway and there ain't nobody gonna park across from him.
I apologize to the people across the street, but I gotta have a way to get in and out of my house, and I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
Alderman or Superintendent Wiseman, could we put the no parking signs up tomorrow if we wanted to?
I work for the pleasure of the mayor. If you say put them up, they'll go up.
Well, I'm not gonna say put them up tomorrow, but we could do that.
Yes.
But I'm going to send it to ordinance committee, and hopefully we can come out with some type of, it's been like this for 25, 28 years already. Would you agree to that?
Yeah.
And another 2 weeks, is your mother gonna move in there in 2 weeks?
I don't know. I wish she would, but no, she's not going to.
Okay, so I think if you give us 2 weeks, we'll discuss at ordinance committee meeting on the 15th, and we will vote on the 20th, and see, let's go that direction. Is that good with the people up here?
So all the other neighbors that didn't get notified,
We will notify them, yep, I'll go door to door. I will.
And I've knocked on doors, and some of them answer, some of them don't. The people on my side of the street, they're tickled to death. They didn't, well, if I knowed I could do that, I would have done it long years ago, is what one guy told me. But he also called and complained about me putting a driveway, so I don't know where he stands.
Yeah, but what if the foot was on the other shoe? What if the no parking was put on this side of the street instead of your side?
I don't care.
You don't care?
You
You don't care if there's no parking on the other side?
I don't care, I got driveways, so I don't care. He can put it on either side, I don't care. I just don't want anybody parking right directly behind my driveway.
Maybe that's the
Which
solution.
they can't park behind the driveway, correct?
No.
Is that what I
They can
understand?
park in front of my house, I don't care.
Okay.
And I told that at the committee meeting, but I didn't care
Maybe
which
that's the
side of the street
answer.
they put it on.
If nobody else has got a problem.
Alderman Gonzalez?
Chris and I took a ride out there today, this morning, we looked at the situation, and there was a truck parked out there, right, Chris?
I think you're talking about Esther.
Was that on Esther?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's another one you were referring to, and Dick's were referring to too. But I can see where that one's coming from, you're talking about also. We did look at that one, yeah, that would present a problem.
Attorney Romano?
Question, if you've already made the determination that in an emergency situation, a fire engine can go down the street if there's even parking.
Slowly.
So what you may want to think about the ordinance committee is you go back to you take out the business about the A7, about the 18-foot, but you bolster A9, which says not block the use of, but or park directly across from.
Mm-hmm.
And then that eliminates the argument about when you're blocking it because you're about half in, you can still get in and out. Just say you cannot park across from anybody's driveway, period. And that may be the way to resolve it. Get rid of 7, change 9.
Where's this going to go? Is it going to go to ordinance?
It's gonna go to ordinance on the 15th.
It's got ordinance?
They told me that.
Megan has a change.
After we set the order.
Didn't you write down your committee assignments?
Well, they have to go.
I tried to memorize it, but you know, at my age, it's a lot harder to write. I got some rhymes up there.
No, what happens
Alderman
there, Robert's if the motion was
Kretzker when he,
in order to rescind that motion to direct the preparation of it, it had to be made by all the first 30 minutes conversation. You go from it. But now the ordinance is already read. You go back to the committee and say, do we go rescind this one? But I think if you take care of the 7 and vote to 9, I think that's about your area, you take care of the issue.
The issue is evidently some fire and brimstone has gone out of it. One came to my house Sunday to discuss it. I've had many discussions. And I was told they moved the car around back. Now they only have one car parked in front. So I think maybe the issue is somewhat smoothing out.
Yeah, there was 3 there Sunday morning, so.
Oh, I've got the pictures. I've got the whole 9 yards. I've had the ball.
Visualizing if you take away 7, what about 2 cars parking across from one another but not blocking the driveway? You'll never get a fire truck out.
That's what they do here. That's what they done that road. Yeah.
No, fire trucks go down.
They'll park on both sides?
Yeah.
If you get two pickup trucks with the 22 wheels on each side.
You got it. According to Chief Cruz, he mentioned it. Okay, we will discuss this in ordinance on the 15th. Anyone else like to add any comments? Thank you. I got one comment today. I got an email from Steve Dennis. I'm sending this email on behalf of my dad, Jim Dennis. He has decided to resign from the cemetery board effective immediately. Dad is currently in rehab at Meadow Manor and will be moving to assisted living, so won't be able to serve any longer. Dad says he's served since 1989 and enjoyed working with everyone for all these years. He wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to serve the community. And I talked with Steve today. I asked Steve if he would like to fulfill his dad's shoes on the cemetery board. He declined, and I told him to ask his father tonight if he could recommend anybody for his replacement. So we will be replacing somebody on the cemetery board in the near future. So just wanted you guys all know that. He gave 30 years of service to the cemetery board.
I'd like to reiterate that because I've been on the cemetery board for the last 4 or 5 years, and Jim has always done an outstanding job. I know his ability to get around has hindered him from getting to the meetings on time, so I know he's been fighting for a long time, but we appreciate his service. He's done a good job over the years.
Okay. Motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Skoltedi, second by Alderman Olive. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? City Council meeting is adjourned.